The Association for Learner Transport in the Northern Cape is refusing to transport learners when schools reopen on Monday. It says the Northern Cape Education Department is refusing to pay them outstanding fees of about 88 million rand. Our reporter Reginald Vetboy in Kimberley has more for us.
Now, there's uncertainty whether grade 7 and 12 learners who are making use of learner transport here in the province, whether they will be transported on Monday, because the 298 transport operators are saying that the Northern Cape Education Department didn't give them any cent for the months of April and May, and they are not going to render any services for free on Monday. And the department, they are saying, owes the operators over 80 million rand. We spoke to transport operators earlier on, and they are quite frustrated because they are saying that for the past years, since 2012, they didn't receive even any increase from the department, so they are battling to even put bread and butter on the tables for their families. I am now joined by the departmental spokesperson of the Northern Cape Education Department, Lehuma. Good afternoon to you, Lehuma. Transport operators are saying the department didn't pay them any cent for April and the month of May, and we've also seen a letter that the department issued to them. Why is that?
Thank you, Reggie. It's correct that there hasn't been any payment to the operators for the month of April and May. And of course, we understand the plight of the operators, but we must be cognizant of the fact that we exist and operate within the PFMA regulations and acts, which says for every payment there must be service that is being rendered. So we are saying during the month of April and May there was no service rendered by the operators, hence there was no payment given to them for those 2 months.
But there's a letter stating that the Northern Cape Education Department saw direction from the Provincial Treasury Department on payments because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Look, we advise the operators to seek relief from the COVID-19 Relief Fund. As you are aware, it is catering for all the SMME and entities that are operating within various economic sectors, and we said that will be a viable option for them to explore. However, I must reiterate that as I've already outlined, we are operating within PFMA regulations, and one of them is to say if you make payment for service that is not being rendered, that in itself, when the Auditor General comes and check and goes through your books, it will amount to fruitless and wasteful expenditure. And this will be, one of the sticking points that we'll have to answer to. So hence we said operators must seek relief from the COVID-19 Relief Fund. However, I must perhaps maybe give you context into our relationship with the operators. As you are aware, their contract came to an end of December. That is a contract that they had with Department of Transport, Safety and Liaison. Therefore, when we took this responsibility, we then said to them, while we are still busy with the tenders that will run for a maximum of 5 years, we will treat them with a month-to-month basis contract as individuals. Hence, therefore, we have been assessing their service on a month-to-month. As you are aware, we pay them for January, February, and March. And those are the months where schooling was still, happening. But as of, April and May, we could not make such payments. Hence, we have been engaging them, since that time. And we have been really comforted by the response that we got from them. As I'm talking to you now, there were a number of, let me say, an overwhelming number of operators that came for the first session of orientation and training with regard to what they will have to observe when they start on Monday with regard to the context of the COVID-19 pandemic regulations. To say one of the things that they must take into account is the sanitation of their vehicles, the masks, observing social distancing and so forth. So we have been taking them through that. And as a department, we did not leave them in a lurch. We said to them that we are actually going to be providing them with the sanitation packages, that is your sanitizers, to ensure that as they start on Monday, they at least have something to fall back on. You know, we do understand that they might be having challenges with regard to fuel, but we are saying let the service be rendered first, and then we'll process their invoices.
I hear what you are saying, that they didn't render any services for the months of April and May, and that's the reason that they can't get paid. But the learners will be hugely affected. What will happen to them on Monday if these transport operators are not going to render any service?
Look, I'm saying the sense that we are picking up from the operators, that we have been interacting with them, I must say it is an ongoing engagement. Tomorrow, our officials will be in Pokwane area, where they will be doing training and, of course, orientation of the operators. And the turnout as of today has been quite satisfactory. And we are saying these are people who are saying, they'll be there with us on Monday. However, if there are those who are not going to turn up on Monday, the department is already working on a contingency plan in that regard.
What contingency plan is that?
Like I'm saying, we're still working on it. It's not yet finalized. We will communicate it in due course.
Well, thank you very much, Lehuma. That was the Northern Cape Education Departmental spokesperson. Lehuma is making it clear that transport operators didn't render any service for the months of April and May, and they've advised that the transport operators should apply for the COVID-19 relief fund. But transport operators are sticking to their guns that if they are not going to get their monies owed to them, they are not going to transport any learners. The departmental spokesperson Lehuma also saying that they are in continuous engagement with the transport operators to see how they can find a way and to resolve this matter.